What's up, guys? We're back again, and today we're going to be going over my 2020 rod and reel arsenal. A lot has changed since in the past year. I've got a lot of new rods and reels that I'm very excited to show you, so let's get right into it. To start off, we're going to go with the all-purpose Curado DC 7 gear ratio with a Insight Walmart rod. A lot of big fish on this rod. I've actually broken the first guide on it, but really doesn't really impact the performance much. I'm going to be using this for Texas rigs, jigs, Senkos, Carolina rigs, just like a lot of stuff. I can throw finesse stuff on it even. I've drop shotted on it. That DC really helps when you're throwing the light baits, and really happy with this. I got 15-pound big game on it. And just a blast to fish this. It can do just about anything. I've thrown crankbaits on it. I've even thrown an S-Waver 168 on it when I didn't have my big bait rod with me. Can do a lot of things with this rod. So that's the first one, all-purpose, 7 foot. I believe it's a medium. It doesn't really say, but 7 foot medium heavy will work. So yeah, there's the first rod out of the way. Next, we're going to be going into my Jerkbait Topwater rod. This is an SLX combo. It's a 610 medium paired with SLX reels 6.2 to 1 or 6.3 to 1, whatever they come in. It's a 6 gear, 14-pound Bass Pro Shops XL. I've been giving it a shot. Not really sure how I feel about it, but I'm gonna try and see how that I use a lot of cheap line. I don't really have money to spend $40 for 200 yards of fluoro. Got a Vision 110 FX on it right now, but I'm very happy with this thing for jerkbaits. The trim has actually come off, but I just snipped it off. Not really that big of a deal. Yeah, pretty happy with this setup overall. Jerkbait Topwater rod, 610 medium with a SLX 6 gear SLX combo. Pretty sweet combo for under $200. Next, we're gonna be going to the other low budget combo. Is a Falcon Jason Christie. It's a 6.8 medium heavy square bill spinnerbait rod. I actually don't really use it for that. I kind of saved that for my one of my lighter crankbait rods, but what I primarily use this for is small swim baits, like the Dark Sleeper, the small Kitex 2.8 to 4.3 I'll throw on this. Pair that up with the Casitas 6.3 gear ratio. I also pair that with 14-pound Bass Pro Shops XL mono. Pretty basic combo. Again, under $200. Really happy with this. I've caught a lot of big fish on it this year, and yeah, there it is. Small swim bait combo primarily. Next, I'm gonna be going into the crankbait rods. The first one, you guys probably know, last year I had a Fury. That rod, I accidentally snapped it. I was hung up on a tree, and I went down to get it, and I wasn't paying attention to the tip, and I bent the tip down and snapped. Totally user error. Totally could have been prevented, but I paired that reel up, that 8.5 I think it is, an 8.5 gear Curado. With a Dobbins Colt of the same model, 7 foot medium heavy crankbait, moderate fast action. Haven't really fished this rod yet. It came in as soon as like the ice was starting to form up, so but it feels like a pretty solid rod. Maybe even more moderate than the Fury, which when you're throwing lipless like this LV500, it's a really good to get that moderate action, keep those fish from jumping off, because it can't really unload that rod. So we're gonna see how this one does. For 80 bucks, I mean, it seems like a pretty decent rod, I will say that. Pair that up with the 15-pound big game. This is primarily the rod I'm gonna be using for lipless, square bills, medium diving crankbaits, stuff like that. Sorry if you can hear that dog barking. But yeah, this is primarily my lipless and most crankbaits. I throw 1.5s, 2.5s on here. I throw all my lipless on it. Sometimes I'll throw blade baits on it. But we'll see how this does compared to that Fury. I caught a lot of big fish on that Fury, so we'll see if this rod does the same thing. So next, we're gonna go to probably one of the highest end rods and reels in this entire arsenal. It's a Metanium MGL 6.2-1. They're coming out with a 2020 Metanium, which I kind of want to get my hands on. I don't really know if I'll have the money for it, but try and get that one. Pair that up with a 7.3 Evergreen Jackhammer Special, 7.3 heavy glass rod, 20 pounds Sunline Sniper. It's got really thin line for being 20-pound test. You might notice I have the cushion on here because this is such a high-end rod that if it goes in the water, this will float it, hopefully. Hopefully I'll never be able to test that. But I got a hook hanger on it. It's a Bass Pro hook hanger, jackhammer, 3/8 ounce fire crawl. I put the real grips on here just to like kind of match that red, give a little bit more comfort. Yeah, pretty solid rod, especially for throwing chatterbaits. It's probably one of the best chatterbait rods on the market, in my opinion. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And yeah, cannot wait to get some fire pre-spawn bass on that bait right there. So yeah, there it is. We're gonna be going into some of my big heavy cover stuff. I got my frog rod here, Chronarch MGL. I got 50-pound Power Pro on here. This is I think it's a 7 gear. Yeah, I think it's a 7 gear. It's a little beat up. So really happy with it. I got a left-hander on here. I would probably prefer the right-hander, but the left-hander, I feel like I could like wrench that rod with, I'm a right-hander, so if I could wrench that rod with my right hand, probably be able to get those fish out. It's a Lew's American Hero 7'6" heavy action. Not really the most heavy action frog rod. A lot of guys use extra heavy, but this is what I got for it. Pretty light for being 7'6". It's a pretty light setup. I got a River Sea Bullywah 2 on here. Pretty happy. I've caught a lot of big fish. I've actually bounced a 5-pounder on this rod. So yeah, it'll handle the big fish. I do like a longer rod just so you can really wrench those fish and get a lot more leverage on them through those mats and everything. So yep, there's this one. And then the last one before we move on to the big stuff that you guys probably really want to see is this second XLX combo. I got the 8 gear on here because I feel like it's when you're punching, which is primarily what I'm be using this for. You're going to be able to like get in and out of the mats really well and efficiently. You're going to be able to cover a lot more water a lot quicker because you're getting more casts in. And if a fish bites, you're going to be able to pick up a lot of line to get them out of that mat. So it's a 710 heavy. Again, longer rod to get a lot of leverage on it. It's got a little bit longer handle than the 610. Which I think is really good because you can really get the leverage on it, like two-hand, like flip that fish out of that mat. I paired that up with 65-pound straight Power Pro. I got I think this is an Eagle Claw flipping hook with a VMC tungsten weight, 1.25 ounces, 2 6-cents Peg X on the top, and then I got one underneath just to keep that weight from sliding around. Haven't really thrown this around too much, but I did catch a fish on it, and we'll see how it goes. I have used it for frogging, and for that, I was really impressed with it. Yeah, so here's this fantastic setup for under $200. I highly recommend it if you're on a budget. So yeah, pretty happy with this. Hopefully we can use this a lot more than we did this summer. So there it is. And now we're going to move on to stuff you probably all really want to see. That's the big stuff. We're going to start out with the lowest end setup here. It's a Cardiff 300 with a Fury 806. Very, very happy with this setup, especially for the price. I use it a ton. Caught a lot of giant fish on it. I caught a 6-pounder on it. On this bait right here, it's Explorer. Yeah, I spooled that up with 30-pound Maxima Ultra Green straight mono. Just for that stretch, like if you backlash, you'll have that stretch to really forgive that bait from snapping off. But I have made a major change in the line, which I'm going to show to you next couple setups. But yeah, this is what I use for glide baits. Most of my cheaper glide baits, I don't really throw my high-end glide baits on this. I throw like the Explorer. It's a perfect setup for the Explorer. Absolutely love it for that bait. I'm gonna be throwing S-wavers on it. What else? Maybe some. I've gone really light. I can throw a 168 on this, but I primarily use it for this and the 200. So yeah, there's that. I'm very, very happy with this setup for this bait, especially. We're going to be going into my HUD setup now. This is a custom built. It's a 967 blank custom built rod. It's got it spiral wrapped, as you guys can see. The guide spiral wrapped around the rod. I got this rod built for me with a very long split grip handle, so you can get a lot of leverage when bombing those big Huddlestons out. This is what I use for 8-inch Huddlestons pretty much solely. I do have a 10-inch, but I'm going to be throwing that a rod that I'm going to show you at the end here that I'm very excited about. Calcutta 400B, nothing really that special there, but what I do have on this Calcutta is 80-pound Power Pro. This is 80-pound just straight regular Power Pro to a 30-pound Maxima Ultra Green mono leader. And I'm going to be trying that this year to see how I like it compared to like straight mono or straight fluoro. But yeah, this is what I throw my HUDs on pretty much solely. 967 blank, very happy with it, very good for those HUDs. Caught a lot of big fish on it. See if we can get some giants on it this year. So there's that. Next, we're going to be going into my lower end glide bait setup again. Just Curado 200i. Pair this up with Sniper 20-pound. Just I'm gonna try that this year, see how I like it. I did throw braided leader on this setup last year. 65-pound Power Pro to a it's either 20-pound, 25 or 30. I can't really remember what pound. I do big game mono as a leader. 795 Fury. Nothing really too special there. I do really like this rod for the smaller glide baits like this Arashi, the Negotiator. I threw on it a lot. I threw the S-Waver 168 on it, handled it flawlessly. I'm really happy with this setup for the glide baits. I don't really throw HUDs on this. I kind of saved that for the other one. I do throw my smaller HUDs on a Mojo Bass 710 heavy swimbait rod, which I do not have with me at this time, but yeah, I don't really throw with smaller HUDs anymore. I just throw the 8-inch and bigger. So yeah, there's this 20-pound Sniper. I think this is a 6-year Curado. I'll link the K down there in the video description, just where all these rods and reels are going to be, except for that custom. It's going to be hard to link that, but yeah. So here it is, my small glide bait setup. Second last is my high-end glide bait setup. This is a G Loomis IMX Pro 966 swimbait rod. I did not pay full price on it. I got a really good deal on it. Pair that up with a Tranks 300, which I'm gonna be trying this year. See how I like it. I do have a power handle on it. I actually really like a power handle. I was doing some test casts with it. I was very pleased with that power handle. Just how you, like, if you grip this thing, you can put that ball in the center of your hand and you could really wrench on those fish. And this is what I'm gonna be using for my big glide baits. Primarily, I got 80-pound Power Pro to 30-pound Maxima Ultra Green leader. Very happy with this rod. I caught a lot of big fish on it through the Explorer, through this bait, through the 262 on it. This is what I use for all my glide baits from that 5 to 7 ounce range. Yeah, very happy with it. It can drop all the way down to a 3 ounce bait, but I save that for the Fury normally. I'm very happy with this setup. We'll see how that Tranks does. I did throw the Calcutta on this setup last year, but this year I got the Tranks, so we'll see how that does. Very happy with this. And last but not least, me doing big stick. This is what I'm very excited to show you guys. The Dobyns 908, the biggest, baddest rod I've ever owned. super excited about this rod. I am going to be using it for the Hinkle trout that I got coming. I got a 10-inch Huddleston that I'll be using for it. It's a 9-foot 8-power ultra mag heavy rod. This is a broomstick. I mean, look at how thick that thing is. Here, I'm going to compare it to like a Fury. It's 795 Fury. I mean, it looks like you could almost fit the Fury inside of that thing. That's crazy. I mean, I was throwing an 8-inch Huddleston on and some tests just to like see how it would do. And like I would pull that Huddleston through and rod would barely even bend. I mean, it's a strong rod for the biggest baits on the market. Super excited about this rod. It's a 9-foot 1-piece, which I really like. I don't really want to worry about 2 pieces, rods coming apart. So yeah, very excited to try this. The handle is very long, a lot longer than the Fury. Ever since I got this rod, man, I mean, the Furies, I mean, I look at the Furies, I'm like, damn, that's a small rod. It does not look like a swimbait rod. I mean, because I'm so used to looking at this. I'm be throwing this with a Calcutta of some kind. I might get another B, or what I really want to pair in this rod, but I don't really think I'll have the money for it, is a Calcutta Conquest 400. In the line, I'm probably going to be throwing straight mono because I'm going to be throwing my most expensive baits on this setup. Baits that you really do not want to snap off. 30-pound mono, maybe P-line CXX, I don't know. Probably going to go Maxima just because I have a lot of confidence in that line. The real seat, you don't really have any blank exposure there, which could be, which is okay. I mean, it's a beefy rod. Got a nice foregrip on here. Very excited. It's got nice guides on it. I'll link this rod in the description. I'll put 2 links down there because Tackle Warehouse, they're out of them, so I'll put an Amazon link or some kind of link on there so you guys can buy this rod. But cannot wait to throw this rod with those giant baits for those giant bass. So that's pretty much it, and pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys had a good look at those rods and reels that I got going on for this 2020 season. So if you guys want to support me, just subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of big swim bait stuff. My Instagram, KevinZ_fish. I post a lot of big swim bait related content on there, as well as this YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see some more big swim bait content, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.